So you guys had just two 1-2-3 innings on offense against LSU by my count, at least. Still only were able to plate a few runs. So why do you think weren't able to drive them in?
Well, LSU's it's got some of the top arms in the country. They ran some unbelievable arms at us. But one of the cool things to hear, because a bunch of our boys had played with some of their boys over the last couple of years, and that coaching staff. It's one of the things that their arms and their coaching staff was talking about was our lineup and how tough of a lineup it is to pitch to. I mean, there's tough outs from top to bottom. So it was good to see, and it was good to hear something that we kind of feel like we already know here, that pitchers don't like throwing this lineup, and we were able to get a bunch of stuff going, and some of those innings turned into pretty good innings, and others were scoring opportunities where we couldn't play to run, but that's baseball. That's how it goes, and especially when you're facing quality arms. So this team is going to score some runs, and it has been scoring runs, and it's going to score runs, it's continue to score runs. And honestly, that's with two of our guys who I think are going to be huge parts of this lineup, are going to have great offensive years. Haven't had a ton of luck at the plate with Johnny Adams and Joey Cronin, and we as a coaching staff and we as a ball club both have so much confidence in both of those boys that it's just a matter of time before they get going, and we can't wait to see that happen. I would be surprised if it doesn't happen down here in Florida.
So about both Johnny and Joe, is there anything in their swings that you've seen so far, or just kind of unlucky hits in the wrong places?
Yeah, it's just one of those times. It's you go 5 or 6 games not getting a ton of hits in the middle of the season, and nobody notices because your average drops 7 points or 10 points or 15 points, and it doesn't. Nobody really kind of notices. It's just that everything's magnified at the beginning of the year. So, nobody loves a 2 for 15 or whatever, but a 2 for 15 at the start of the year looks way worse when you have to walk up to the plate and see that number on the scoreboard. So it's just baseball. They're both having good at bats. They're putting good swings on good pitches, and it'll even out. Both those boys can hit and are going to hit. So it's just how baseball goes.
So Nick Scorantino, his second year catching with these guys. Steven Stott, I believe it's his third year. So how have you seen these guys working with the pitchers so far, having that experience in the past?
To have a resource like Jimmy Foster, and for those guys to be able to go to him and learn from him, how to manage a staff, how to work with pitchers, how to get them through trouble, how to keep them focused when they're throwing the ball well. It's awesome to watch, and it's awesome to watch their development. They both have experience back there. They're both doing a great job back there, and they're both continuing to get better. We have two very solid ACC catchers in the mix, and Jeff Murphy is right there with them. So I'm really happy with our catching core. I think as a whole they have to get a little bit more focused on every pitch. We've had a couple pitches that have gotten through our catchers that shouldn't and that won't in the future, because these boys can block and they can receive. So I think my one knock on the catching crew in general is a couple times throughout the first couple weeks they've had a pitch they've taken off and it's showing up. That won't happen anymore. I know that. I believe in those three boys, and I believe in Coach Foster in terms of developing them.
So Mike King has had some pretty strong outings out of the pen so far. What role do you kind of see him filling for this team in the future?
Yeah, Mike King. Well, first, Mike King's pretty good, and we all know that. The boys know that. And when he's in the game, we have a ton of confidence as a ball club. As we're stretching him out right here, we're very cautious with the arms and the pitch counts of all of our boys. Mike was just a little bit behind getting started in terms of some of our other starters to get him stretched out. So as we stretch him out more, he's basically at the point where we can now go either way, start him or relieve him. We have 4 games this weekend we'll announce our starters this afternoon for the weekend. But Mike gives us such a great option wherever he is. I mean, having him start a game, the boys have confidence. They love playing behind him. We know we're going to get soft contact early in a lot of counts. We're going to get punch outs in big spots when we need it. But it's also what makes us love him at the back of a game. And, you know, if he's at the back of a game, it's not going to be in a closer role. It's because he can stretch out and has starter length that, you know, he could be an old school closer when you remember, you know, when Eckersley started closing, we'd have three inning saves, that type of thing. Now, Mike's not Dennis Eckersley, but, you know, that both of those are really good options for this ball club.
So still early on, obviously. Have you seen any guys who might be able to fill that closer role?
I think that's something we're kind of sorting through. I mean, we have guys that have closer stuff, and we have guys that have closer makeup. It's just a matter of figuring out who fits best, and who's the group of guys also that can be those bridge guys to get us there. You know, you can have the best closer in the country, but if you can't get outs in the 6th, 7th, and 8th, it doesn't matter, right? So, you know, we have the tools and we have the pieces here that we need to be able to have a solid bullpen. Now it's a matter of getting them in the right spot, and for some of those guys kind of settling in and feeling comfortable and getting those outs at those parts in the game. So we have what we need here, and this bullpen is gonna come together very well. It's just putting it together, and that's somewhat, not that you don't want to win these games, you want to win every game, but that's also part of what early in the year is for. And you know, we'll get there. Thank you very much.